Right, let's get straight into it, Kyle, because I've loads to talk to you about, and we try to keep these kind of chats kind of fairly concise to the point. So let me start. The main thing that I want to talk to you about is your business, Guest Getter, marketing business for restaurants. Um, talk to me about that. I suppose, why did you start that business, and also what exactly is it?
Yeah, so I grew up in the industry. I started, working at a restaurant when I was 15, and then I worked all sort of parts of it, and I eventually found myself behind the bar bartending, and I got super obsessed with it. Did got super into cocktails and stuff like that. Did some competitions, and I had actually finished. I was just finishing up a master's in music as a singer, and I knew I didn't want to do that. And I knew that I wanted to go into business. And so I started a bar and bartender training company called Nimble Bar Co.
Yeah,
And we started that in 2017, made tons of mistakes, but I learned, I learned some pretty potent skills. And then when the pandemic came around, the appetite for, bartender training sort of went away, but restaurants needed a lot of help. And I was really passionate about the skills that I had learned building Nimble Bar Company. And so I figured, well, why don't I see if we can apply this skill set and help restaurants grow? And that's how it started. My first client was the bar that I bartended
okay.
at, and yeah, and then yeah, we help restaurants grow through five core essential digital marketing systems that I mean I'd be happy to share more about, but that's a
Yeah,
long-winded
that's it in a
answer to your
nutshell.
question. Yeah.
No, sounds good. So like, yeah, so let's get into the kind of micro of that a little bit more. So let's just say I have a small independent sandwich shop, and I reach out to you and I want to grow the business a bit more. So how does that kind of relationship or will work between me and you there?
Yeah, well, I mean, first we have a conversation and see if see if there's a fit and see if it's and I mean that and like see if we're a fit, see if you're a fit for us and if we're a fit for you,
Yeah,
and then we would one of my guiding beliefs is to get results in advance. And so one of the ways we do that is we have a number of different ways, but one of the ways is through like a strategic road mapping session where we kind of we chart a path to, get some clarity in terms of where you are now and where you want to go. And then we put some steps in between. And then at the end of that call, we ask the question, well, does this roadmap excite you? Does it energize you? Is this something that you want to take and run and execute on your own, or would you like some help with implementation? And if they feel called to get help with implementation, then it's at that point where we start working together. And how that relationship, that's an interesting question. How that relationship goes is it's so I saw in one of your questions, like I think the word agency was used,
yeah,
and I really shy away from agency because first of all it scares a lot of folks,
yeah,
it's interesting. Like I love the word agency because I love what it means. To have agency, I think is and to be a high agency person and company is really
yeah,
important. On the other hand, a lot of agencies are super bloated. They're kind of built on time and talent, and so as a result, they pass that expense off to a business, and in many cases, it's not sustainable. And so I really seek to create. I prefer, the term a systems provider, a systems provider and implementer. But what I really seek to do in our relationship is actually four parts.
yeah,
So one is I want us to be an insurance policy. So because I'm obsessed with growing restaurants and marketing restaurants, it means that we're an insurance policy that they're always on the cutting edge, they're bleeding edge, they're always ahead of the curve, right? That's one thing. The other thing is we're kind of like a consultant in that because we're at that leading bleeding edge, we
yeah,
can help them see around corners. we're also a coach, so we help them set direction and get clear on where it is that they want to go, and we also help them implement. So like a lot of entrepreneurs in general, I know this is true for myself. We say to ourselves, I know what to do. Why don't I do it?
Yeah.
And it's kind of a bandwidth problem, or it's like a problem around energy. It's energy management, and so
Yeah.
we need help in the implementation part of it. And so yeah, we seek to do all of those things in a sustainable way that that makes sense within the restaurant landscape. A lot of them don't have a ton of margin, but especially for those multi location units, there can be decent margin, and yeah, we slide in and just try to provide a wind at their back and execute really well thought out systems that are all outcome based systems. So a lot of marketers will be like, oh, I'm gonna be a social media manager, but it's sort of detached from the outcome that the social media is intended to create.
Yeah.
And so we're really crystal clear. Okay, so this is the outcome that we're seeking to create. We don't win every time, but at least it has all of us orienting our activities around the things that matter. So yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, it's very interesting. No, I really like the look of your business. In terms of marketing, restaurant marketing, the one frustration that I often hear when I chat to people like independent, say, coffee shop owners, is the kind of Starbucks effect of oh, how can we compete with Starbucks? I have a small coffee shop, etc. Obviously, in terms of the budget or the marketing budget and all other costs involved there, it's very difficult to compete with those guys. But where would you see an independent small mom and pop shop maybe can compete or even have an advantage over the large chain conglomerates in terms of marketing, or is there any?
Oh yeah, I actually think being sort of local is, yeah, I think you can outcompete Starbucks, and I think it really starts with a mindset of fishing at your feet and leveraging partnerships that are near the restaurant. I think that's one of the most slept on approaches to marketing that restaurants just they don't tend to lean into enough, which is just, you have a hotel down the street, create a VIP program with them and make, some custom cards that they can give out to their guests. Same goes for local tourism outfits or the gym down the street. Go to those places and find a way to create a symbiotic relationship where you can send them customers or and they can send you customers. Also, you can find an advantage in speed, in being faster to tell a story.
Yeah.
You can put on an event. You can just create much deeper relationships with the people who are in the vicinity of your restaurant. You can, you can be running ads on Facebook and Instagram that are just like a 1 kilometer radius. And actually that's where we recommend starting. Is like some restaurants will be running ads in like a 30 or 40 kilometer radius, and they're spending like $5 or $10 a day, but you're not going to saturate that area. And so you want to start really small, like super small, and you want to show up consistently in front of the people most likely to become what we call true regulars, the people who are going to come in day out and really sustain and support the business. So I mean, I could go on and on about ways that small players can outcompete Starbucks. Here's one way. It's like most of Starbucks advertising looks like advertising, and so as a local independent, you can just pull out your phone and be like, hey, what's up? I'm Kyle over at this cafe or this bar, and today we have something awesome. And you can create content that looks native to the platform that will actually stop the scroll, that will actually reel people in. Whereas Starbucks, their stuff, it looks like ads, and so it bounces off most people. It works though because they're doing like a sheer volume play in many cases. But I mean, there are tons of ways that small players can outcompete people like Starbucks or folks like Starbucks.
Do you think the kind of frustration maybe that a lot of these independent places have, do you think that's warranted? Obviously it's warranted to an extent, right? But like, do you think maybe they're looking at it the wrong way. And as you said, there's loads of opportunity out there if they just look down the right path.
What would you mind specifying the frustration?
Yeah, so like, look, I think to be honest, I think it's probably not so much a marketing frustration. It's more just, maybe the economic challenges of running a business and Starbucks. Maybe it is marketing. Starbucks, people just love going to Starbucks and paying more for the brand and all that. It's probably a broader issue than just the kind of direct marketing.
Yeah, I mean, like it's a tough market. It's a tougher market environment right now, which it doesn't mean that you can't win. It's just like you have to. I actually think you have to be more on offense and just scrappier. Like I'd recommend picking up books like Guerrilla Marketing.
Yeah.
And just kind of getting creative with it. But yeah, so I mean. But markets are cyclical, right? Like there's always going to be a time where things aren't it's just a bit tougher. Like the environment's a bit tougher. I heard a guy who all he does all day every day is he looks at data for bars and restaurants, and
right.
What he's seeing is like this environment it's a lot of folks are feeling like it's close to 2007 2008,
Wow.
and so yeah, but I think those who continue to play offense and continue to show up and get through it, when just like any other market cycle, when we get through to where we feel like there's more of a tailwind at our backs, they'll be the ones who can really soar, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Let me finish up on two more, Kyle. I'm really appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Maybe a strange question, but is there any kind of lesson that you've learned along the way, personally, professionally, that's kind of helped, helped you running your business now? There's kind of been a standout lesson.
I think it's like over time you get like a set of guiding beliefs, and they really kind of frame how you work. And so for example, one of those for me is to saturate the market in goodwill. And on a similar note is there's this book called Lead the Field by Earl Nightingale, which is, do you know it?
No.
Okay, well it's just like some of these books just they change you. They change you at a physiological level as well. And so in everything that I do, both in my own business and with clients, is we seek to saturate the market in goodwill, because goodwill is like such a powerful force, and it compounds. Like there's this guy Alex Hormozy, yeah, I'm sure you know him. Anyways, like one of his sound bites similarly is goodwill compounds faster than revenue, and I found that to be true. And so I think that has been a big lesson, is to just like, and it's the thing that makes everything you do fun, even when things are tough. If you are like saturating the market in goodwill, you like it always comes back to you. And that sounds a little woo, but I've really found that to be true. I mean, there are probably other lessons, but that's the first one that comes to mind. The other thing is, I think developing self systems. For me, one of those things I've recognized in myself. A brand superpower is consistency. If you are consistent, you're basically separating yourself as a pro from all the amateurs. But yet it's the hardest thing to do, right? And so figuring out simple systems that can work for you, that make it so that consistency is automatic. For me, one of those things is, and this is a relatively new thing, but is daily emails. Writing daily emails to the list, and also just putting out content on a daily basis. Blah blah blah. Like just having those systems within yourself, I've found that to be very useful. Anyways, those are the couple things that come to mind.
Yeah. Let me, before I ask the last one, let me just jump into this one. So, on your first point there, so I was involved in a restaurant previously, and we used to have this thing called like random acts of kindness. So basically, it was like a monthly thing where we would just try to put out some level of, some random act of kindness. And it wasn't, of course, there was an element of, marketing or branding behind it, but it really, the whole idea was that we weren't trying to sell or nothing. It was just to, come from a good place. the return on investment on those was absolutely amazing. So there was one that I remember. We were scrolling through Instagram one day, and don't know how it came up, but we saw some guy, maybe one of the followers to the page, they just had a baby. And it was like really late at night. It was like maybe 10 a.m. And I forget exactly what the comment was, but it was something like, really tired or, whatever. So we basically just reached out and said, look, because we were actually close to the hospital. We were like, look, if you want to pop around, free meal for yourself, and, when your wife is good and all that. Came around, got the free meal. It didn't cost us a huge amount. The return on investment, like as a lifelong customer, and the amount of people that he told on the back of that was insane, So yeah, just to kind of piggyback on your point there, it's definitely powerful.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah, it's like, and it's all about the feeling, it's that famous saying, people don't remember what you say, they remember how you made them feel. And that's kind of what, it's what Random Acts of Kindness is about. It's what saturating the marketing goodwill is all about. And yeah, we want to do that as much as possible, because it just increases your surface area for luck and opportunity and the things that you want.
For sure. Let me finish up with this one, Kyle. As a person who's involved in kind of restaurant marketing, is there any restaurant out there, even globally, that you most admire in terms of their marketing?
I would actually, the first one that comes to mind is Dead Rabbit Grocery and Grog in New York City. I think they have a location in Austin as well. It's just, it's really, really elegant, great storytelling, very thoughtful. I think that's I really seek to do all this, storytelling, marketing stuff in a thoughtful way. And I think that really goes a long way in this time of ChatGPT, where everyone's just like going to ChatGPT and having it write their copy, and it just it all looks like robotic, and it kind of sucks the soul and the humanity out of this craft. And so I think being thoughtful and writing the words and putting your heart and your head into it goes a long way, and I think people can really tell. So I would say Dead Rabbit Grocery and Grog. And honestly, I'll look to the big chains just because they know what's up.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing, right? And so instead of being like, Starbucks, God, like how can I compete with them? I would take insights and lessons from the things that they do and basically make, kind of your own version and make it a bit more grassroots. So that's what I say to that.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do one quick question, if you don't mind, and we'll end it there. So someone just commented. We got a few comments. One guy said, "What's your opinion on kind of organic social media content creation, putting out content for your restaurant versus word of mouth kind of marketing?"
Well, So like you ask a lot of restaurants, where do your customers come from? Where do you get your guests? And they're like, wow, word of mouth. And it's kind of like this either or thing almost. It's like, well, you either get them from word of mouth or you run ads. And my whole thing, like our entire strategic roadmap and process, and our process in general, it's really around how do we accelerate word of mouth? That's the thing. It isn't either or, but when all of your systems are working, in symphony, we should be able to accelerate word of mouth, because that's kind of the holy grail of all this marketing stuff. And so, I would say it isn't one or the other. Like word of mouth is the most potent form of marketing. The whole sequence of events leading up to that is what we architect and engineer so that, and it all comes back to saturating the marketing goodwill, random acts of kindness. If all that stuff is in our processes leading up to that guest experience, then the likelihood that they will tell other people, and also making it easy for them to tell other people, is far greater. And a similar key concept that we have is the concept of a true regular, which is, and it could be different for every concept, right? Or it is different for each concept. It's, like, what is a true regular? How often do they come? How much do they spend when they come? So that you can get a sense of the annual lifetime value of that or not lifetime value, but the annual value that a true regular has, so that it informs, it informs lots of, from how much you're willing to invest to get a guest, to what and where you invest. It's really important to orient your activities around getting those true regulars to come to your business. But yeah, so I that's kind of a long-winded. Does that answer that question?
100%, yeah, 100%.
Okay. Awesome.
Kyle, there's been absolute nuggets of gold in there, and it's been a pleasure to chat to you. And I'm really excited for people that follow this podcast to actually have learned about you, that maybe haven't heard about you, because your Instagram there's so much good knowledge from your Instagram, completely free, on your social media that they can learn. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. This is cool. I haven't done this before, so it's a great idea.
Nice one. Thanks, Kyle. Chat to you soon, man. It's great to connect.